questo momento qui è il maggior sforzo che stiamo facendo della preparazione e la squadra ha fatto un po' di fatica soprattutto in diversi elementi perché non ho moltissimi ricambi, però è quello che dovevamo fare. Mi sembra che ci sia una grande disponibilità, hanno assorbito abbastanza bene il lavoro, per cui siamo in ottima salute in generale, ecco. È sicuramente una squadra difficile da affrontare sul piano tattico perché io so la qualità del suo allenatore, la qualità di Sarri e bisogna essere forti, bisogna essere bravi nel modo di stare in campo e nel modo poi di prendere delle decisioni.
Well, Luciano Spalletti has had one very successful season in charge of Inter Milan, took them back into the Champions League for the first time in 6 years, but this is the first real test for the new Chelsea boss, Maurizio Sarri. Moved to London 2 weeks ago from Napoli, enjoyed a 1-0 friendly win against Perth Glory in Australia on Monday, but now pits his wits against club that he knows well, Internazionale. Congratulations too to Cesc Fabregas, who was married earlier this week. It's an indication perhaps of the sort of regime that Maurizio Sarri is going to have at Chelsea, that he allowed all of Fabregas's teammates to attend the wedding. Davide Zappacosta, another Italian who'll know all about Internazionale. There's the new man, Jorginho, signed from Napoli. Came with Sarri, of course, for £57 million in the middle of this month. New signing for Inter Milan on show as well, Kwadwo Asamoah. Came from Juventus, where he was part of a team that won 6 titles. Plenty of experience there. Stefan de Vrij is a promising Dutch defender. Of Feyenoord and Lazio. Strong teams named by both sides, and this man, well, 29 goals in Serie A last season for Mauro Icardi, the Inter captain. Well, we've got plenty of action coming up throughout the next couple of days. Arsenal and Chelsea in a London derby coming up. Inter's next game is against Lyon, who also face Chelsea. So this competition throws up massive European head-to-heads day after day. Excited youngsters waiting for their heroes to arrive into the tunnel on the Côte d'Azur, where the weather is glorious and it's a shirt-sleeve audience. Shorter trip for those from Italy than those from London, but there are plenty of Chelsea fans here too. Well, Mickey Gray alongside me. It's going to be interesting to see, isn't it, how Chelsea fare under their new coach. One thing we do know is that it won't be 3-4-3, it'll be 4-3-3. He's abandoned the 3 at the back that Antonio Conte favoured, so these players, Zappacosta, Luis, Ampadu and Alonso, are the back 4, are going to have to adjust to that.
Yeah, good evening, John, and that is a big change. I remember when Conte came into Chelsea and he tried and let the players mention to him what system they wanted to play. The 4 at the back he didn't like, it didn't work for them, so he very quickly changed to that 5 at the back. But this is a completely different system to what we've seen over the last couple of seasons, so players like Zappacosta, they have to fit into this system and they have to work on it very quickly. You know, the Premier League come around thick and fast, and new manager
Callum Hudson-Odoi is on the right of the front three alongside Pedro, who celebrates his 31st birthday today. Marcin Bulka continues in goal with new signing Robert Green on the bench. World Cup stars Olivier Giroud, Victor Moses, Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rugia, fresh from Russia, are all amongst the subs. For Inter, well, they named 10 of the starting 11 who drew with Sheffield United, the exception being midfielder Matteo Politano, who's on loan from Sassuolo and comes in for Lauro Martinez. 19-year-old Belgian Sian Emmers features in midfield, as does new signing Kwadwo Asamoah from Juventus. As we've mentioned, the side is skippered by last season's joint Serie A top scorer Mauro Icardi. Just a reminder that 11 substitutes can be used by either manager, and that we will have penalties if the match ends level after 90 minutes, something which Manchester United fans will be aware of, having witnessed 26 penalty kicks in an extraordinary shootout against Internazionale's arch rivals AC Milan the other night. There's Gianfranco Zola. Chelsea fans need no introduction to him. He's been brought in as Maurizio Sarri's right-hand man, Luciano Spalletti. I'm sure looking forward to pitting his wits against Sarri, although Maurizio Sarri, in 5 of the last 6 Serie A games against Inter for Napoli, only lost 1. Chelsea are wearing a yellow change strip, attacking the goal to our right-hand side in the first half. The unmistakable figure of David Luiz, who's resisted the temptation to have a summer trim on the ball. And well, I think this is probably the first real test of the close season for both of these clubs. Inter had a fairly informal game against Sheffield United, while Chelsea went to Australia to pay Perth glory. But this is a big encounter between two big clubs.
Of course it is, John, yeah, and we all want Inter Milan to get back to the heights that, brought them this huge name. There's two huge sides that used to play in the same stadium. It's now been changed, but I mean, it's a giant of Italian football. There's no doubt about that. And we mentioned the sides that they've picked, very, very strong teams, and this competition is getting stronger and stronger. I think all of the games that we've witnessed so far in this International Champions Cup have been very, very competitive, very quick, and we've seen some outstanding goals. I think every team that has taken part in it actually wants to go and win the thing.
That's a mistake early on by Internazionale, and here's Alvaro Morata, who's copped a bit of stick, didn't play very well in Australia, but that's a good ball by him. Early chance for Chelsea, good save, and the follow-up is scuffed by Fabregas. Well, Inter created a problem of their own making there, and Chelsea almost punished them. Here's David Luiz, bright start by Maurizio Sarri's men. Here's Alonso. This is Ethan Ampadu, the young centre-half, whose father Kwame was also a player of some note. Zappacosta, headed away firmly by Skriniar. Still not clear. This is Hudson-Odoi trying to find Barkley. And it was a timely and very useful tackle by Gagliardini, but good start for Chelsea.
Excellent start, fantastic. I think Maurizio Sarri will be very pleased with the opening couple of minutes in this game. They work it well down the left-hand side, really good opportunity. I think it falls to Ross Barkley onto, well, if he has got a weaker foot, his left foot, but he does everything right. He keeps it low, he gets a lot of pace on it, and he asks the question of Handanovic in that Inter Milan goal. Super start.
It's an interesting one, and one which the young Polish goalkeeper Marcin Bulka, just 18, will worry too much about. It was Icardi. I presume he was trying his luck, but it was rather misguided. Ross Barkley, who we saw a moment ago, could be a big season for him. He's had so many injury problems, only 4 appearances for Chelsea in the last campaign, but a chance for him maybe with a new boss to get a foothold. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi, who I know everyone at Chelsea rates as one of the best prospects they've had in years. Here he is now. Strikes the shot. It's up towards Fabregas, who's beaten in the air in the end and hoofed away by De Vrij. Chelsea very busy in this opening period. Jorginho, the number 5 there, the new signing, getting a touch. Here's Pedro. It's his birthday today. He'd love to celebrate with a goal, but the danger snuffed out, and Can Emmers gets the ball away for Inter. But the first 3.5 minutes have been played almost exclusively in Inter's half. Here's Marcos Alonso, who's playing as a more traditional left back. Last season, of course, he was playing on the opposite flank from Victor Moses as a wing back. It's all changed now. It's brought forward by Zappacosta to David Luiz. Again, Hudson-Odoi looking to get involved. 17 years old and very lively already in this game. Morata, that's a decent ball. Here's Pedro. And Zappacosta to the byline. Decent cutback again. It's headed away this time by Skriniar, but Fabregas has it once more for Chelsea, and they deserve the goal, and they've got it. And it's Alvaro Morata, but I don't think it's going to count. Well, he needs a goal. And it was the end of a lovely spell of pressure by Chelsea. Cross-whipped in. Morata denied the opening goal in Nice.
Well, it's a one-way contest at the moment, and it's all Chelsea. Very impressed with the start that they've made. We mentioned the start that they've made. It was a very close call from Morata. He's looking across the line, but I think the two centre-halves, Skriniar and Derry, just stepped up, and he was probably just half a shoulder offside. But very impressed the way that they've started. They've settled into this new system, the 4 at the back, which I think helps them going forward. There's more attacking players, and when you've got the quality that they've got on show in Hudson-Odoi, very young Pedro and Morata, to finish off those opportunities, he's going to get a lot of chances.
Yeah, it was clearly offside. The official got it right. Skriniar trying to get things moving for Inter, of whom we haven't seen a great deal. It's a disappointing cross from the left by Candreva, which is dealt with by Luis. Just a word about Morata. I mean, there were some unkind things said about him after the Perth Glory game. No, he didn't cover himself with glory. He only got 3 goals in his last 23 appearances last season. He's a very good player, as we know, but just seems to be lacking a bit of confidence that's so important for strikers.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I think what he'll be worried about is it's a new manager, it's a new start. All he has to do is impress his manager, and everything else will come along with that. When you've got the quality that is around him, what's surrounding Morata, if he's going to be the out-and-out striker, he is going to be given opportunities. He looks sharp, he looks fresh from the first few minutes that we've seen, and he wants to get back on that top form where we know he belongs.
Now then, here's Candreva coming forward menacingly for Inter, and that's a decent ball. And the shot is blocked. It was hit by Roberto Gagliardini. Plenty of Chelsea players available to block the effort. But, signs of life from the Italians, who've been slow to get out of the blocks.
Good opportunity for Gagliardini. Well worked down the right-hand side. Emmers, Candreva interacting with the passing there. Ball just falls out to the edge of the area. Chelsea players, 2 or 3, closing the ball down. Not wanting to concede any goals. Off to a very bright start. Finish off this good play, if they possibly can, and get themselves on the score sheet.
Certainly been much the better team, although Inter have fond memories of facing Chelsea. They beat them in the round of 16 in the Champions League 8 years ago, and of course went on to lift the trophy under a man who both clubs know well, Jose Mourinho, who of course is part of this international Champions Cup with Manchester United over in the United States. Here's Zappacosta, another decent looking cross, maybe a little overhit, and forces back pedal from Callum Hudson-Odoi, an Englishman of Ghanaian descent. He made his Premier League debut in January. It's another mistake by Inter. Here's Morata looking to punish them, but he's done well to keep the ball in. He's looking for support. There isn't much at the moment. He still has it. He goes for goal, and the ball deflects out, and Pedro, happy birthday, 31 today, has found the net. All down to Morata's persistence and ability to keep the ball in. Back it came, deflected to Pedro, who simply doesn't miss those opportunities. They deserve it. It's Chelsea 1, Inter Milan 0.
Well, Well, if you ever want to send a message to your manager to say, look, I'm back, I'm sharp, I'm ready, well, Alvaro Morata has certainly done that. He doesn't give it up, he keeps the ball in play, he's got the vision, absolutely fantastic ability, he takes a strike, comes out to the edge of the area, and Pedro's there waiting, as all great strikers do, find themselves in the right place at the right time, keeps his head down, takes a little bit of a deflection, but he won't worry about that, he will be claiming that goal. But what about the ability from Morata? Absolutely outstanding.
It was a terrific set up by Morata. The save was made by Handanovic, but Pedro, who scored the winner against Perth Glory in Western Australia earlier this week, has scored again. 7 goals in his 49 games last season. Possibly would have wanted a few more, but he's sharp in the close season, it seems. Chelsea, as we said, thoroughly deserved the lead. There's an offside flag there against Candreva. But Inter haven't really got going, have they? They've been sloppy at the back. They've given away possession a couple of times. One, well, speculative is being kind effort by Icardi. They really haven't got themselves going at all.
Sometimes, John, you have to credit the opposition, who they're playing against, and how they've started this match, which is in Chelsea. And you can talk all day long about systems, but if the players are not up for the game, then it doesn't matter what system you play. But they are certainly loving this system.
There's Morata, who's very much up for it. Clever ball out towards Zappacosta. It was intercepted though by D'Ambrosio. Pedro again. Back to goalkeeper Marcin Bulka. Played 4 games last season in the Football League Trophy, where the Premier League teams field under 21 sides. He's a Poland under 19 international. He's got Robert Green on the bench, having joined the club from Huddersfield on Thursday. Here's Pedro. Chelsea full of life. Great run by Pedro. Cynical foul by Skriniar. He'll be fortunate to avoid a yellow card for that, you'd think. But looks like the referee's being benevolent.
Well, we want to see him a little bit lenient. Obviously, it's it's very early on. The players are obviously still trying to find their feet, but Skriniar there just sticks out his right leg. I think he knew that Pedro was going to skip past him, and if he had done, he had an opportunity on goal. But this is another set piece. They've got it just outside of the edge of the 18-yard box, and a real opportunity to get this shot on target and search for that second goal. David Luiz can take a great free kick. He's got that where you can get it over the wall. He's got that dip. I'm sure we've got a few others in their side too.
Well, Alonso is another, and he's got a great left foot, but on that occasion it was found a little bit wanting, just scooped it over the crossbar. 8 goals for him last season. I think he was the top scoring defender in the Premier League in 2017, and he's a threat from those free kicks, and will be disappointed, I think, with that one.
Yeah, well, he's got the quality. We've seen it on numerous occasions from Alonso. He's got a fantastic left foot. Just didn't get enough dip on this one. He got the curl and the direction. Just wonder, in playing in that left back position, if he's able to get forward and find himself in the positions he found himself in last season, and in that wing back role, whether he gets himself up to 7 or 8 goals this season. But he has got the quality to do it.
Samoa finds Politano. This is Skriniar, whose foul went unpunished by Marcos Alonso with his free kick. Trying to find Antonio Candreva. Shadowed by Marcos Alonso, who did his job. Scored in a friendly draw with Zenit St. Petersburg earlier this summer, Antonio Candreva. Haven't won any of their warm-up games yet. Inter, held by Sheffield United and Zenit, and they lost in Switzerland to Sion. Just a reminder, it's 3 points for a win in normal time. A penalty shootout win earns 2 points. If you lose the shootout, you still get a point for the draw. Away by David Luiz. Morata can't make anything of it this time. Here's Skriniar.
Well, they're yet to settle into Milan. Still think they're trying to find their feet. They're giving silly balls away. It's a little bit scrappy from their part. Gagliardini and Emma's in that central midfield area. They've not really got themselves on the ball too much other than that opportunity that Gagliardini had. I think you've got to try and get the ball. You've just got to calm themselves down a little bit. Of course, they're still trying to find their feet, but I think the quicker they can get that ball up to Asamoah and Candreva out wide to show what ability they've got, I think Icardi will probably grow into the game a little bit more, but he's a little bit stranded up there on his own right now.
He's easily defended by Internazionale. Again, they've made rather poor work at the back. That's not normally a feature of Italian sides, and certainly not of historic Internazionale sides in the past. Here's Zappacosta. Just cannons it into Skriniar, who's been busy at the heart of that Inter defence in the opening 15 minutes. 15 minutes which Chelsea have utterly dominated and deservedly lead through Pedro. Gagliardini was bundled over there. Chelsea just more up for it, don't they? Winning all the 50-50s.
They do, and that's all credit to the players, obviously coming back and working hard. I think one of the players that I've been very impressed with and looks sharp. You know, I always think he looks as if he carries a little bit of weight, but Ross Barkley, he started the game very sharp. He had that strike with his left foot. Looks as if he shed the pounds. And he's ready for a tough slog in the Premier League this season.
It's a better looking ball by Inter, but Icardi is beaten to the punch by Bulka. Politano was the provider. Politano on loan from Sassuolo. Decent ball. You can see what he was trying to do. Goalkeeper out quickly. No harm done for Chelsea. Here's Jorginho. Despite his Brazilian descent, Jorginho is a naturalised Italian. Played his whole career in Italy for Verona and Napoli. Obviously highly regarded by the man who's brought him with him to Chelsea, Maurizio Sarri. Ball forward by Gagliardini, intercepted by Luis, and Morata is off again. Now he's got support here from Pedro, who looks for a second, or tries to set up Morata. Neither is the result, and the ball goes away behind. Unselfish by Pedro. Morata still frustrated in that search for a goal.
Great little turn from Morata. He got on the front foot. He was a little bit unselfish. He could have taken the shot on, as could Pedro. Again, tries to pull it back into that 6-yard box, but he just plays it a little bit behind Morata, who got himself near the 6-yard area. But every time they pick up the ball and they get themselves turned and running at this this back four of Inter Milan, they look very dangerous, Chelsea.
Easy header clear by David Luiz. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he's lost out to D'Ambrosio. Alonso, though, able to tidy up for Chelsea. Have been very impressive, both defensively and particularly going forward so far.
The last couple of years, I think Marco Alonso has certainly made himself. Well, there's just an opportunity. They're giving the ball away. He's certainly made himself into one of the best full-backs or wing-backs in world football. He's been outstanding.
Young Ethan Empadu going down there with a slight injury to his ankle after that coming together with Asamoah. He's up again on his feet now. I must say, if there were any awards for the most hirsute central defensive partnership, David Luiz and Ethan Empadu would certainly win it with their flowing locks. He's another player who's very, very highly regarded. He made his debut as a 16-year-old for Exeter City. Here's Icardi. Attempted back heel, doesn't find its way through to Emmers. And Pardew is able to clear. He's made one Premier League appearance as well as a substitute against Huddersfield back in December. Chelsea have a long history of producing very, very good youth teams plucked from all around the globe, but Hudson-Odoi is English and Pardew is Welsh. He's already got a full cap for Wales as well. Here's Dalbert, the Brazilian attacking fullback, as they so often are from that neck of the woods. Doesn't work for him that time. He's never scored a senior goal, Dalbert, but he's created a few. Here's Ampadu again. This little touch by Pedro. Chelsea look very, very comfortable at the moment with almost 20 minutes gone.
Playing the game at the right tempo, a very good tempo. Every time they pick up the ball, they've got options on the ball. This fellow on the ball, Hudson-Odoi, looks the real deal. He's got every trick in the book. Absolutely thrilled to watch him.
I was working with Clive Walker late last season, great name from Chelsea's past strike, and he was saying that he reckons Callum Odoi is the best youngster he's ever seen at Stamford Bridge, which is high praise indeed.
Absolutely.
Here's Candreva. Might have a crack here, does! And almost sets up a goal for Icardi, who, sharp as ever, was a fox in the box, but got the touch that, unfortunately for him, took it wide.
Super effort. I think Candreva, as he picks this ball up, he just drives towards that 18-yard box. It's more of a shot come cross. And a typical striker who scores a lot of goals, Icardi, he's not going to give that up. He gets in between the two centre-halves. He stretches out those toes, tries to get anything on them at all. Just misses it a couple of inches. It's the first sign of Inter Milan really getting into gear.
I do get the impression it was a shot by Candreva. Here's Barkley at the other end, finding Zappacosta on the overlap. It's been another entertaining game. The quality of these games has been absolutely excellent in this tournament so far. Here's David Luiz. Now Jorginho, who looks to be playing the N'Golo Kante role in Chelsea's midfield, and Kante not here, although Giroud, his fellow World Cup winner, is on the bench. Luis forward, Pedro. Chelsea are quicker to the loose ball. Here's Morata. Wants to go for goal. To be fair, it might have been a better option to pick out Hudson-Odoi to his left, but you just see there how keen he is to find the net.
Yeah, looks very sharp. Must admit, Morata, we know he's got quality feet and he's obviously very good in the air. But when he gets himself turned and he's driving at you, then he's a real threat. Fantastic ability early on in the game just to set up Pedro there. He takes the strike on. It's a very acute angle, but why not? He made the opportunity himself. He wants to get on the score sheet. As it just falls out to Pedro, all he has to do is just lock that ankle and just aim towards the target. Skriniar gets the last touch on it, but I don't think he can really take that away from Pedro. Very impressive start from Chelsea.
Yes, Luciano Spalletti is looking suitably anxious as we reach the quarter mark in the game, and it's been pretty one-way traffic really. Luis with the header away. Here he is again, David Luiz, not in Brazil's World Cup squad, having captained them in 2014 on home soil. A mistake by Inter. They've been ragged with the ball at their feet, haven't they, at times? Here's Barkley, who, as you say, looks a little bit more svelte than perhaps before. That's not a very good ball, though, by the former Everton man. Joined Chelsea for 15 million at the start of last season, but barely figured. was taking a bit of a gamble coming out that far, but does well.
Talking across Barkley, you know, his season or his Chelsea career needs to get going. You know, a slow start. He'll be the first one to admit that. He, you know, he's had that big injury as he left Everton Football Club. He walked into obviously a bigger club than Everton, with no disrespect to those, and you've got to try and hit the ground running. You know, obviously world-class players everywhere around you, and you have to impress, not just on the football field but in training every single day. The managers are watching. You've got to be sharp. I say, it looks as if so far, coming back from his holidays, he looks very, very sharp.
Yes, Hudson-Odoi. Barkley's one of those midfielders who, at one point in his career when he was very young, along with the likes of Jack Rodwell and Jack Wilshere, was seen very much as the big future of England, and it just hasn't panned out that way at all. He is an England international, of course, Barkley, but I'm sure Gareth Southgate will be watching with interest to see how he develops. Jack Wilshere, of course, has decided to change as good as the rest and gone to West Ham. Here's Ampadu for Chelsea. Barkley again does well and finds Morata. Hudson-Odoi outside him. He's coming towards Pedro. Little flick towards Fabregas, his compatriot from Spain. Fabregas has done well here, and Morata again is on the prowl. No foul there. Skriniar gives it away. Alonso, I don't think, got a touch. It's a Chelsea throw. 25 minutes played at the Allianz Riviera in this beautiful part of the world. The Mediterranean lapping onto the golden sands not too far away.
Yeah, we see Morata going to ground. Been very, very scrappy from Inter Milan. Skriniar has made some silly challenges. One on Pedro, now this time on Morata. He has to be very, very careful. As we've seen in a few of these games in this tournament so far, the referees can go straight into the pocket and pick out yellows. You have to be just careful.
I like to see the referees treating these games the same as any other game, in the sense that you know, the players know their responsibilities when they come onto the field. They're not walking on thinking, well, I can get away with anything. I admire the fact that the referees have not necessarily been lenient. Gianfranco Zola, you got a shot of there, just having a little chat as they take some drinks. Let's have another look at the goal. And, well, we've said it before, but Morata there, brilliant stuff. And he didn't have too many options there, so a shot was probably the best thing. And the keeper off his chest, and Pedro, well, we know what Pedro does from those sort of situations. Well,
it's wonderful ability for Morata. You know, I come from a mistake. He picks up the ball and he's got that desire to take on defenders. Left foot, right foot, wonderful chop. Gets himself into that acute angle. And you're right, there's nobody in the area, so why not take that shot on? You made the opportunity yourself, and then you get that bit of fortune when the ball pops out to Pedro and he just puts it into the back of the net. But it's nothing that they didn't deserve, Chelsea. They've been the better side by far. You're just wondering how sharp these Inter Milan players are, but they're maybe still finding their feet. We talked about Skriniar at the back making a couple of mistakes, whether he's up to 100% fitness at the moment, but they have to try and find that as quick as they possibly can, because these seasons are coming around thick and fast.
Yep, they got a pretty busy schedule. Inter Milan in this competition. They face Lyon in Italy next, and then Atletico Madrid right at the end of it in Spain. And they've also got the Serie A season kicking off on August the 19th against Sassuolo. Chelsea play Arsenal in Dublin, Lyon at Stamford Bridge, and then they have the Community Shield against Premier League champions Manchester City. Their first Premier League game is a trip to Huddersfield on August the 11th. So things are starting to hot up after the summer break. Here come Inter, looking to get themselves back into the game. Very good tackle by Alonso, though, to deny Icardi, who is the danger man, of course. And Chelsea try and spring forward with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Looks a very confident boy. Morata, Barkley. This is good play by Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi with a bit of space down this flank. Not afraid to take it on and shoot. Handanovic fairly easily in the end able to save, but just a glimpse of how confident and talented this boy is.
It's great to see young talent, 17 years old, with the confidence that Hudson-Odoi has got to pick up the ball, do a give and go, keep his run going, not admire his pass or the little bit of ability that we've seen. He wants to get on the end of it and get that ball into the final third. Yes, it wasn't a very good effort at the end of it, but he made it himself. He got it onto his right foot, just needed to curl it a little bit more, get a bit more pace on it. You keep giving yourself opportunities like that, you will score goals. Fantastic play.
Yeah, excellent play. He was part of the England team that won the Under-17 World Cup in India towards the end of last year. Strong tackle on Emmers, but credit to the Belgian. He's come away with the ball and he's found Candreva. His cross is too high.
Gonna have better quality than that, Candreva. We know he has got that quality. He gets into that final third. He's just tried to chop it onto his right foot and put a ball into the area. There isn't many Inter Milan players in the area for him to pick out. You've got to have that quality. Keep the ball in play.
31 now, Candreva. Over 450 career appearances for him. Here's Ross Barkley for Chelsea, again aware of the presence of Jorginho, who's knitted in quite well so far. Here's Hudson-Odoi, who's been outstanding. Very clever ball in towards Pedro, cut out by Skriniar. Half an hour played. Very much going Chelsea's way. Might even be disappointed they haven't added to the 1-0 scoreline, really. Such has been their dominance. There's Alonso. Barkley again showing good feet. So too far in front of Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's not afraid of telling the senior figure, David Luiz, what he thought of that rather poor delivery.
I'd like to see that. He's a young man, he's in the same setup, he's in the same starting 11, so why not? If you want that quality and it doesn't come, you let them know if they're making mistakes.
I don't think David Luiz could have too many arguments, really. He's 14 years Hudson-Odoi's senior. 14 years the senior of this man on the ball as well, Ampadu. Here's Barkley, a relative elder statesman at 24.
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think of Ross Barkley and always had injuries, and we were looking for that midfield player, maybe even in the World Cup, although we did get to the semi-final, to maybe break down a back four with that little bit of quality, can see a pass into the final third. So it is certainly not over for him as an international career without any stretch of the imagination. He has got the quality to get back in there, he just needs to play more.
Here's Jorginho trying to find Alonso. Would have flicked up off D'Ambrosio. It's a Chelsea corner. What do you make of Jorginho so far in his first sort of major role with Chelsea?
I believe he was very impressive in the game against Perth Glory. It's going to be interesting to see how they fit all of the players, and if you think Kante is coming back into the team, if they're going to have that one holder midfield player, how they're going to select and where they're going to play them, because we know Kante is obviously can do a lot more than sit in front of the back four. We saw that in the World Cup, and we've seen it for the last couple of seasons in the Premier League. 2 titles in the last 3. But they're quality players, and I think Sarri will want that type of squad. He knows that he's got great players and they want to keep improving, and it's finding the right balance, the right system that is going to suit the players that he has at his disposal.
It's been about 3 years for Kante, has it?
Yeah,
Premier League with Leicester, Premier League with Chelsea, World Cup with France. Here's Asamoah, that's a good ball. This is Politano. Need to do a bit more of this Inter Milan. Candreva's cross. Ampadu rather sliced at it, but the job was done. It's a corner to the Italians.
Better play. Starting to up the ante a little bit, getting the ball out wide and putting better crosses into the area, asking questions of this back four of Chelsea. Ampadu there, the ball probably just skidded off the grass. As a defender, what you're trying to do is just get any part of your body on it and make sure it stays away from your goal. So job done.
Well, Mauro Icardi, who's a dangerous player, and he's one of the players in the box, punched by the goalkeeper Bulka. Back in it comes from Dalbert, away by Alonso, and then a volley hit with venom, but not with much accuracy by Candreva.
Oh, Candreva just a little bit disappointed there. Comes onto his weaker foot, his left foot, as the ball comes back into the area. I thought he had time to get the ball down and have a touch and maybe put it onto his stronger right foot. Took the shot on, and the quality, on a couple of occasions we've seen that from him in the first half, the quality just hasn't been there with that final touch of the ball.
Scoring 39 appearances last season, Candreva, which for a wide attacking midfield player is cause for concern.
He's one of those players, I think he likes to stay towards the byline, and that's probably why he doesn't get the goals that maybe he should, if he wants to get him to that, let's say, next level.
It's another mistake. Here's Barkley. You can see what he was trying to do. He wanted to pick out the run of Pedro, but wasn't quite on the same radar as the Spaniard. It's a foul by Jorginho. He's going to be spoken to.
I don't think Jorginho was very happy with that ability there. I think it was Asamoah who was out playing on this left-hand side. Great ability. He had 3 Chelsea players around him. Wonderful skill. Tried to just skip the ball past Jorginho. And the foul came in. You have to be careful of that when the Premier League starts, because he will get himself in the book on numerous occasions.
Yeah. Perhaps fortunate not to have done so there. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Chelsea still lead through Pedro's 8th minute goal. Scored on his 31st birthday, his 2nd successive goal in summer fixtures. Pretty comfortable on that lead, Chelsea, so far, without, it has to be said, creating too many chances to double it. Goalkeeper Handanovic has made one low save from Hudson-Odoi. Other than that, reasonably untroubled. Chelsea have certainly been the better side. Here's Gagliardini. Forward by De Vries. That's nicely done by Candreva. So is that. Real chance here. And it's fired wide. It was a really decent effort by Politano. Candreva did really well. First touch excellent. Icardi left it because he felt maybe Politano was in a better position, but Politano fired it off target.
Better quality from Inter. Again, working the ball down this right-hand side. It was a long ball. Candreva gets the better of Alonso with pace. Gets his head up. It's a pull back to the edge of the 18-yard box, and Politano just gets his strike completely wrong and falls to his left foot. And you're waiting for that moment just to strike it with your laces and give Bulka real problems in that Chelsea goal. Just missed the target completely.
Yeah. Did get 11 goals for Sassuolo last season, and also his first cap for Italy. Here's Hudson-Odoi, that's overcooked. Politano faced Saudi Arabia in May for the Azzurri for the first time. Could be a big season for him on loan.
Politano has to show better quality than that, John. You know, you don't get too many opportunities like that where there's no pressure on your strike. You know, you can pick your spot. The goalkeeper's kind of stranded Bulka in that Chelsea goal. You know, do you play it to the left-hand side, the right-hand side? But the first and foremost, first thing that goes through your mind is, I have to hit the target.
There was a little glance by Icardi as if to say, perhaps I shouldn't have left it.
Yeah.
Because given his goal-scoring record, he'd have probably made a better fist of it, but it was unselfish by the centre-forward, and that man couldn't take advantage. Good work, though, by Candreva to set it all up. Stays 1-0. That's Inter's best moment, really, of the half. Looks fairly sorted keeper with his feet, doesn't he? He's had one punch rather than catch aerially, but that's brilliant by Pedro. And he's on his way. He's got Ampadu and Alonso for company here. Here is Hudson Odoi. Now Alonso. Fancy this, weaker foot. And off target.
Get back in your position, Marco. Stick with the left foot. Very good play. Outstanding ability from Pedro. Great little flick through the midfield area. But he just wants to get the ball down on the ground and use that pace and drive forward. He plays it out wide to Hudson Odoi. Eventually gives it back to Alonso. I think when that shot was on there, you just seen the bright lights. I think he maybe should have taken one more pass. But I've been impressed with Chelsea. Change of system, they've certainly worked in it. When they come back for the pre-season training, they're now taking it into these physical games, which is really impressive, and they've settled into it very well.
Here's Kwadwo Asamoah, new signing from Juve. Left by Politano for Candreva. Shot is hit again with reasonable venom, but the direction was never going to trouble Marcin Bulka, who let it run past his post.
I think it's one of those, it's a dive from Marcin Bulka across to his left-hand side. He knew all along that he had that covered. It wasn't really threatening the goal, the strike. I think you mentioned him a second ago, John, but he does. He looks very comfortable as a goalkeeper with the ball at his feet, as most goalkeepers do now. Seems to be a trend. You're not just a goalkeeper with your feet. You have to be very comfortable and start playing out from the back, because a lot of the sides in the Premier League are certainly going that way now.
Looks like he's been coached that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fabregas, and now Luis. Here's Sarri in broken English saying, "Good Pedro, move the ball." Well, he's been obviously taking some lessons. I'm not sure how good his English is.
He's also said that he wants to see his players playing happy. So far,
well,
from what we've seen, they have a smile on their face.
They do. Pedro to Hudson Odoi. Can they finish the half even happier with a goal? Alonso. Now Jorginho. Zappacosta. Keeping it nicely, Chelsea. Fabregas. And again.
Continua a giocare Alvaro, non ti fermare lì. Vieni, Alvaro, vieni.
It's a shame that Pedro let that slip under his feet. Chelsea had put together 15 or 20 passes up to that point. Oof. Well, Handanovic has shown that he can play a bit as well.
Not bad.
He's put Morata on his backside. That will not please the centre forward one bit, will it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Alvaro Morata was running it, what 75-80%. He wanted to close down Handanovic in that Inter Milan goal. Great skill from the goalkeeper. Feinted to clear the ball, just chopped it back in towards his goal, and off you go and you start playing. We see the slip from Morata. And that is things that centre forwards do not like to do.
I think a fair amount of dressing room stick may follow.
Possibly, unless he gets himself on the score sheet.
Well, maybe they want to be kinder to him. He has played well, to be fair. Morata had a huge part in the goal, and he's generally looked like a player who's trying not to let the problems that he've had burden him down. Certainly the first 15 minutes he was very aggressive, very positive.
You just wonder with Morata if he's ever came under this criticism before in his career, you know, gone through a period of time of not scoring a goal in a Chelsea shirt and being left out of the team. How much that can get a player down. You know, you're in a different country. It's always difficult.
It's hit by Politano, who again has managed to miss the target.
Politano having left his shooting boots at home. He's put somebody else's on because their build-up play starting to get better. It's a little bit quicker. I think the tempo's starting to, the players are obviously filling their lungs. They're getting that all-important minutes under their belt, and they're getting themselves into better areas now, finding the gaps in between this new system of Chelsea. But the shots, when they are coming in, they're coming in from 25, 30 yards out. They have to try and work the ball a little bit better and find better areas to give themselves a chance of getting that equalising goal.
Space out wide here for Alonso, and now Barkley. I think was eyeing a volley at one point there, but it didn't quite break for him. This is Candreva for Inter on the counter. It's a good run too. And here's Icardi. And again, he's unselfish, or tried to be, and you'd have fancied him to shoot. Instead, he's trying to set up Politano, and just wondering whether he thinks now he's made the wrong decision.
It's not like Icardi not to take an opportunity on, and it was all set up for him. Play again from Candreva down that right-hand side. He waited for the movement of Icardi. He got himself that, half a yard of space. And when it comes to him, as a centre-forward, you bought into a club to score goals, not to set up other players. I think he needed to be a bit more selfish there and take the strike on.
Especially given that Politano had wasted the two opportunities that had come his way hitherto. Icardi has scored in 2 of the warm-up games. He was one of the scorers in the 3-3 draw against Zenit St. Petersburg. He also got the goal at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United. Inter were very, very rapturously received by the Sheffield United fans, who were delighted to have a club of that stature playing at Bramall Lane. Here's Ethan Ampadu. We're in the last minute. In fact, we're into 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. It's a first half that Chelsea have thoroughly dominated, and a game which they've led since the 8th minute, when Pedro netted after excellent work by Morata. Morata again. The flick header was by Stefan de Vries, the former Feyenoord defender, who was part of the Dutch squad in the last World Cup. Actually scored in that famous 5-1 win over Spain, the one in which Robin van Persie's flying header became an iconic moment.
Super header.
Knight drawing in on the Côte d'Azur. Says Fabregas with the corner. He's held it up towards David Luiz, who's done really well to keep that alive, but then not so well with the subsequent cross, although there is a corner off the boot of Skriniar.
There's a little bit of a scrappy work corner. They work a little 1-2, they get the ball into the area, but it's too floaty, I think. To cause more problems to this back four of Inter Milan, you've got to put it into a danger area, the 6-yard box, so somebody can go and run and attack it. But Luiz had to change his run.
This will probably be the last chance of the half. Fabregas corner, header by Luiz, thumped away by Skriniar. That is the last action of the opening half. 45 minutes in which Chelsea have been by far the better team and are deservedly leading. Pedro on his 31st birthday, scoring after Alvaro Morata's shot had been deflected into his path by Samir Handanovic. Just a couple of moments for Inter. Mauro Icardi, perhaps too unselfish for his own good, with a couple of opportunities that he passed up. But really, Maurizio Sarri looks as if he's doing a good job with Chelsea, because they've played extremely well and they have the advantage at the interval. Half time, it is Chelsea 1, Inter Milan 0.
massive crowd expected at the Big House for this one. And the big question going into the start of the new season,
target. They've got themselves into some very good positions, but unfortunately, they've not really tested that Chelsea goal as of yet.
Well, this competition allows for 11 substitutions per match, and Chelsea have decided to make 3 at half-time. Timur Bakayoko, who you saw a moment ago, Danny Drinkwater and Cesar Azpilicueta are on for Antonio Rudiger, Cesc Fabregas and Ross Barkley. We'll confirm the Inter subs when we have them, as the teams come back out for the second period. Floodlights now at this Allianz Riviera Arena. Old friendships being reunited. There's Danny Drinkwater, who celebrated the title with Leicester City in 2016 before moving to Chelsea. He's on for the second half. Maurizio Sarri, Mickey, I think will have quite enjoyed delivering his first meaningful half-time team talk, because there wasn't too much to complain about, was there?
And learning English, as we heard, as the first half was going on. So, yeah, very impressed. He said to his players that he wants them to play happy. For 45 minutes, it looked as if they had a smile on their face. They were enjoying the football. I'm certain that we're going to get this in the second 45 minutes, even though they have made changes.
Yeah, Lautaro Martinez, the Argentinian frontman, is coming on as referee Nicolas Rainville gets the second half underway. Chelsea in a change strip of all yellow. The Nerazzurri, of course, in blue and black stripes. They've been, if not beaten black and blue, they've certainly been out-fought and out-thought in the first half. They need to improve. There's an early chance perhaps for them to do that. There's Asamoah, D'Ambrosio, and now Politano. An early corner.
To start from Politano, first and foremost, in this second half. He looks as if he's drifted across to that right-hand side to use that left foot of his.
Only their second corner, it's in towards the near post. And still might be a chance here for the player who's just come on, Martinez, and then it's fired in by Politano, and Willy Caballero, who's also on as a Chelsea substitute in the second half, saved Politano's shot.
Yeah, good strike. First shot on target. Nice little test for Caballero.
Should have held it
very low.
Caballero there, I think. Anyway, played in the World Cup, of course, for Argentina. Here's the corner. It's a positive start to the second half by Inter. Politano finding Asamoah. Eventually it's knocked away by David Luiz. Here's Jorginho, new signing for Chelsea. And Danny Drinkwater's on the ball now for the first time. This is Pedro, the goal scorer. Alonso took his eye off the ball, got rather lucky there, but now finds himself rather boxed in. Unable to return the ball to Marcos Alonso.
Good strength there.
Giveaway, they were sloppy at times on the ball. Inter got away with it this time. The goal itself came due to careless piece of play in midfield. Politano has knocked it far too long for Antonio Candreva. He tested Caballero. He was Inter's only shot on target of the game, that one that Caballero rather scrambled round the post. This time it's Chelsea's turn to give it away. And they've given it away to Mauro Icardi, who again is unselfish And it was a good decision because the ball has been rattled into the net by Roberto Gagliardini. And Inter Milan are level. Chelsea losing the ball in midfield on a couple of